Honda's lineup is getting a tad long in the tooth. The good news, Honda just spilled the beans on what's coming out in the next year or so. And for their performance division Acura, we could see some enticing brand new models. Heading over to automotive news, Honda dealers primed for 2-year influx, guys. If you're excited for a little bit of spice in the Honda lineup, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe. I'd love to get you guys with me to 100,000 subscribers, and let's keep reading. Honda dealers are preparing for a 2-year stream of freshened and redesigned vehicles, followed by a growing emphasis on hybrids and eventually electric vehicle models. That is on the slate today. We're going to run through it all. So William Feinstein is the chairman of the Honda National Dealer Advisory Board. So quoting Mr. Feinstein, we're very excited about the launch of the new Ridgeline. Well, the Ridgeline is not new. It's a pretty strong refresh, but it's kind of the least that they could absolutely do. I don't think the platform's quite ready yet. The new light truck platform is quite ready yet. We just saw it revealed on the new MDX, and I would assume that that light truck platform is going to underpin the new Odyssey and the new Ridgeline, Pilot, Passport, etc. And even Mr. Feinstein, the chairman of the dealer board, knows that Honda's a bit stale right now. He says the Ridgeline is just the beginning after a lull in the Honda product cycle in recent years. Here we get into the juiciness. He thinks in the next 2 years are going to be very good for Honda, starting later this year with the redesigned Civic. Again, we don't know what kind of powertrains are going to be in there, and we don't know a whole lot about the vehicle. We have a sketch of the interior, and we know what the exterior looks like in the sedan form. But then he says moving on to next year with the CRV, HRV, and Pilot. So next year, 2022, is going to be a huge year for Honda. They're all going to be probably 2023 model years. We're going to head on over to car figures. This is important here to understand why they need to have refreshes or redesigns in the vehicle and their certain vehicles as soon as possible. So here we are. Here are the total sales statistics by year for Honda here in the United States. It's kind of plateaued since 2017, if not dropped off. Of course, 2020 wasn't kind to most automakers. Unless you're like Mazda, Tesla, or Volvo here in the United States, you were immune from that. So we just got a refresh in the Accord for 2021 model year. We're not going to look into that. Take a look at the Civic since we're getting a redesign soon. And the Civic is a cash cow for them, guys. They sell on average around 300,000 units of it. And of course, since the sales of sedans have been going down, we see a drop since 2017. So the new Civic redesign is definitely needed here to boost these sales back to around 300,000 units. They can't risk losing the crown in this compact segment to the Corolla, for example, or the Elantra, which I have in the driveway for review right now. Clarity doesn't matter. CRV, well, they said we're getting a redesign. Now, we haven't seen a redesign on the CRV since the 2017 model year. And we got a refresh for the 2020 model year. And yeah, so we're not going to see the redesign until the 2023 model year, which will be sometime in the calendar year of 2022. Powertrains, I don't expect to change really at all. We have the 2-liter hybrid in it. We get the 1.5 turbo. And then what about a plug-in hybrid? Well, I think that will come in the redesign. That is available now. The 2-liter hybrid plug-in is available for China, I believe, at this point in time. And I think it will debut on the upcoming redesign. Now, looking at the sales figures here, the CRV, they need to keep it fresh and exciting so they can continue to just nab more sales on it. It's the hottest segment in America right now is the compact. They're not very small, but the compact crossover market, and they should be selling right up there with the RAV4, which they're really close to doing, but they should be neck and neck with that RAV4. Now, the HRV, guys, is of concern here. Europe is getting the redesign this year on it. I don't think we're going to get the redesign on it until 2022 based off this interview with Mr. Feinstein, I think his name was. So looking at the sales figures, they should be selling, in my opinion, quite a bit more than 100,000 units. They've never cracked 100,000 units. Now, this vehicle debuted as a 2016 model year, I believe. But the problem is that vehicle dates back to 2013. It's actually an older car. They decided to bring it to America a little bit later. And one of the other issues with the HRV is the powertrain. CVT is one thing. I understand that. No one's a big fan of it. But the engine is very underpowered. It goes back to 2007, essentially, with that 1.8 liter. They need to have either a larger naturally aspirated engine like a 2 liter or bring in the 1.5 turbo, which I doubt because that's more of the CRV's engine, the turbo. But Europe is said to be getting a 1.5 liter naturally aspirated engine as well as a 1.5 liter hybrid. I would hope we see the 1.5-liter hybrid hit in the United States in the coming years, especially for this redesign HRV. Odyssey, we're not going to look at Odyssey because vans are not doing well in general, but we won't see a redesign for a while on the Odyssey because the last redesign was in 2018 and it just got a refresh with the Ridgeline for the 2021 model year. And lastly, we're going to take a look at the Pilot because this should be a huge volume seller for them as well. Pilot got a redesign in 2016 and a refresh in 2019. And we saw a huge drop off from 2018 to 2019. And maybe a part of that is because they have the Passport now in the lineup. So, you know, if a potential buyer wanted a large crossover, they didn't need necessarily to buy, you know, the 3-row. So you could say 36,000 units or so of what would typically be the Pilot sales dropped off, and that kind of correlates here from 160,000 to about 135,000. So you could say that's roughly due to the the Passport into the mix as well. So hopefully a redesign in the 2022 calendar year will bring them back up to 150,000 units or so. And I think the issue is similar with the Ridgeline and the Odyssey, is that it is going to be on the new light truck platform like the MDX. So I just don't know if it's quite yet ready to be seen in the Honda products. Maybe it has to do with cost. Maybe that light truck platform is just too expensive here in 2021 to be debuted on a Honda product. And of course they got to tailor it. I don't expect it to be as advanced, of course, as the Acura, because the Acura light truck, the new one on the MDX anyways, has a lot of aluminum in it. I don't expect the Hondas to get quite that same weight savings treatment. So I expect the V6 to stick around on the Pilot. Of course, they'll have a hybrid eventually. And of course, we'll see that in the MDX at some point in time as well. So going back to the article, we're going to talk about electrification. Mr. Feinstein says the next discussions are going to be around electrification. We have a number of hybrids coming to the market. What those would be the CR-V plug-in hybrid would be my guess, as well as the HR-V hybrid for the first time. Probably the Honda Civic getting the hybrid as well. I remember the Honda Civic used to having a hybrid, but for some reason, I don't remember seeing a recent hybrid in a Honda Civic. So look for a new Honda Civic hybrid as well. And of course, all the light truck platforms to get hybrids in the coming years. So in terms of full battery electric vehicles, Honda doesn't have a true battery electric vehicle for a few more years. So there's enough time to prepare for infrastructure and all that, etc. You can make any excuse you want, but really they're not going to bring the Honda E to the United States or that beautiful concept that was debuted at the Beijing Auto Show this past year. It looked like a really, really nice fully electric long hood. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the MDX, but a 2-door version of the MDX. But alas, we're not going to get that here in the United States. So what are we waiting for a battery electric vehicle? We're waiting for GM to build those battery electric vehicles for Honda. Honda will be getting one. It is going to be built, I believe, in Mexico. And then Acura will be getting one, and that will be built in Tennessee. And the Acura one will share everything pretty much with the Cadillac Lyriq. We're shifting gears over to Acura now, and dealers embrace upmarket move. And we know Acura is going upmarket. I just reviewed the MDX and TLX, and those have seen price hikes, and the product is better, so you can justify that increase in price. So there's a couple things that jumped out to me. As Acura dealers await for a redesigned compact sedan to replace the aging ILX, dealers are also lobbying the brand to add more crossovers to its current core lineup of two cars and 2 crossovers. Well, yeah, the ILX, we're going to head on over to some Acura sales here with the ILX. So Acura peaked in sales in 2015 with about 175,000 units. They plateaued a little bit since then. I do expect them to rebound to get back to 150, 160,000 units here in 2021. But we're going to look at the ILX sales, and this is by far their cheapest car in their lineup, and it sells the worst other than the NSX. And it hasn't, ever since 2013, it has not sold more than 20,000 units. In 2018, hitting an all-time low at 11,000 units. And in 2020, getting back up to 13,000 units. But this is an entry-level car. It should be selling way more than 13,000 units. I think the average buyer knows that even though it looks really good, it's not that much different than a really nice-looking Honda Civic. Sedans aren't doing that well, if you haven't noticed. So they need a redesign on the ILX. Hopefully we get something like a Type S version on it that will be similar to like the Honda Civic Type R. That would be phenomenal. Okay, so what about these other crossovers? Well, one is going to be electrified, and this could be the one that they're talking about that slots above the MDX, this would be the fully electric Acura that would be shared with the Cadillac Lyriq. I think that is the 2-row, possibly 3-row option SUV that is premium price, probably $70,000+, and more of a flagship that would suppress the MDX that's just been appointed as its flagship. But the Acura dealers are asking for a product that slots above the MDX, and an Acura branded Cadillac Lyriq could definitely fill that slot. What they need, in my opinion, and I made a video a while back on what Acura needs really badly right now, is an entry-level crossover. In China, they have an entry-level crossover for the Acura brand called the CDX, and it's essentially a gussied up Honda HR-V. And if Acura actually had that in America, I think it would sell a heck of a lot better than the ILX. The problem is we just don't have that option here. And I think Acura could benefit immensely from having something that's pretty darn small and be a direct competitor, let's say, against the Volvo XC40 or the Lexus UX. Exciting things coming for Acura, especially with the Type S's. Exciting things coming for Honda, especially with all the redesigns coming out next year. This year is going to be a little bit tough for them, but having a redesign on the Civic is important for the brand because they just sell so many of those models. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'll see you in the comments. If you made it this far in the video, have not smashed the like button, go and do that. Subscribe if you want to be a part of the Luxurious Fleet and make it to 100,000 subscribers with me. I would appreciate that. I'll see you in the comments as always. Thank you so much for watching. If you're wondering what's going on behind me, well, I have boxes behind the camera because I'm moving to Florida relatively soon, within a month or so. That's actually extraordinarily soon. So the office is all sorts of torn up and boxes everywhere behind the camera, which you guys don't have to see. And yeah, I'll leave it there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Got the Elantra in my driveway, the redesign, and I can't wait to, I haven't even driven it yet, so I can't wait to drive it, give you my impressions, get some tasty B-roll on it today. And guys, I'll leave it there. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves. Peace out.